ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुक्तापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां भावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome everyone to today's IBC Siksha. We are continuing with chapter 17 of Bhagavad Gita, verse number, I guess, 18. Okay. Yeah, we completed this threefold austerity, right? Now we'll move to penances. Penance is also um, done in what to say, three modes of material nature. Just a minute. Penances. It's a voluntary self-punishment. It is similar like tapa. Let's look at the technical word used. Penances, satkarma, puja, artham, tapa, tambena. So here the word tapa is used. Again, tapa is used. So tapa is austerity, but still Prabhupada says it is penance. So, so this is austerity, tapa for the body, speech, mind, right? Now this is austerity done in the direction of the under the direction of the Vedas. So it is called penances. Let me. So, okay. Penances performed out of pride and for sake of gaining respect, honor, worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent. So penance should be performed for what? Should be performed in for Krishna, right? For the sake of Supreme, and it should be done as a duty. So if they are performed for pride, like Ravana, he did so much penances for pride, for gaining respect, honor, worship. Others should worship me. Then it is in mode of passion. And what is the result of passion? What is the result of passion?
It is neither stable. That is passion.
Yeah, passion is not stable, but what is the result of passion? For goodness, the result is always good. It's
Good.
peaceful,
For
yeah. But
passion,
for
it is
passion, it
not
is
good. For it is not good.
passion. It is not good. What is the exact word? Misery.
Misery.
And for ignorance, what is the result?
Madness, Rabbi.
Madness.
Yes, madness. So misery is there. Somebody doesn't respect, then somebody doesn't honor, worship, then what happens? Fight
Lust and
happens,
anger.
arguments happen. Like, we must
Anger.
have heard or we must have seen in marriages,
Mm.
some guest is not happy and he will shout and say, I didn't get respect, I didn't get honor, this, that. Nowadays, I don't know if it happens or not, but previously it would happen a lot.
It
The only
happens now
because
also, Prabhuji.
Nowadays also, okay, okay. So what
Yeah.
happened is in my sister was getting married, and then my aunt had come, and it so happened, that everything was going very nice and peaceful. Then my aunt said one thing, this is wonderful. This marriage is really wonderful. And I said, what happened? He said,
there's no.
she said, no one is fighting, no one is arguing. And she comes from a small town, and she said, whenever we did marriage, any marriage, in our family, one person used to sit down and cry and make a scene, and we had to appease him, and then only he would feel fine.
Mm.
So so anyway, point is that respect, honor, worship, people really look for. But when we talk about penances, right, we are doing austerity, tapa, we are doing it for Krishna, and there we should not look for all this respect, honor, worship. I am a big devotee, I gave Krishna big garland and all that. That is not to be a show, it's a show bottle. If it is show bottle, then it will fall down.
Correct.
We discussed long time back a story of Daksha. So
Yes, Prabhuji.
Daksha, he was born from the mind of Brahma. So the body that he had was self-effulgent. It was glowing. It was like gold. If he walked, then it was like a sun walking. So effulgent. And his son-in-law Shiva didn't give
Shiva.
him obeisances. Didn't pay obeisances to him, and that really triggered Daksha, and he started blaspheming Shiva. So he was in mode of passion. So therefore, Daksha, then his status was not stable. What happened to Daksha later?
Actually, Sati was Krishna, Shiva's wife. She came, no? She came and then she burnt herself, and then Shiva, hearing all these things, she came.
Shiva killed
Shiva
Daksha.
came and then
So
he
Shiva sent a demon to
demon.
punish Daksha, and that demon, what he did?
He burnt
He
him
cut
with
his
a
he cut off his head,
head.
and then later on, what
He
head
was
did he
burnt.
get?
He was burnt, I think. No.
No, goat's head. He got a goat's head.
Goat head.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So Daksha got.
So from a effulgent personality, he became a goat-headed personality.
Mm.
So this thing happens. So if one is looking for respect, honor, worship, na, ultimately it will end in misery, right? Ultimately it will end in misery. So what is the solution for this? Can you tell me a practical solution?
To be humble.
Yeah, to be humble. Should not expect. If we get, fine. If you don't get, don't cry over it.
Don't cry. We
Don't
should
cry over
always
it.
think about Krishna and then do the sacrifice and leave it to him. Whatever he's giving, the result, we have to accept that and keep quiet.
Whatever penances we do, whatever tapa we do, we should not do it for getting people's respect.
Yeah.
I donated so much and all that. It's all a show bottle. So it will result in misery instead of happiness. People will be more miserable. Okay. The next is we look at the points. Anything penances, no? Huh. See, desire to be worshipped by subordinates, let them wash their feet, offer riches. Such things, at the end, it just um, creates more misery than anything, than happiness. Now, penance is performed out of foolishness. self-torture or to destroy or injure others, it's said to be in a mode of ignorance. We talk na hartal, hunger strike. It is injuring, self-injuring. For what reason? Not for Ekadashi, not for Narsimha Chaturdashi, not for Janmashtami. Uh, how many of you did fast on Janmashtami?
We did, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, so that day you could fast the whole day, na?
Yes, Prabhuji.
And even after the fast, you were happy or not?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. And do you think these people who do it hartal, hunger strike, are they happy after that? No, right? They are more miserable.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So it is in mode of ignorance. So it will be madness only. So the result is
Prabhuji,
more madness.
hartal doesn't mean that they will not be eating. They'll be eating and then they'll do hartal.
Secret eating, I think.
Secret eating.
Yeah.
Below the
Anyway,
bench,
then
they
the
eat
whole
a
thing
lot.
is just show bottle, and all that. Okay. Like Hiranyakashipu did so much of austerities, but for what?
For his
To injure
longevity.
others, to destroy the demigods and all that. There is one more story of self-torture. There was one person who wanted to please Shiva, and he did started doing some yagya, and Shiva didn't come. So then he started cutting off his flesh and offering it into fire.
Ravana.
Not Ravana. Ravana also did. He also cut his head. But this is another person. And then Shiva came and said, "What do you want?" I think this is Bhasmasura. So then he said, "I want powers. Whoever head I touch should turn into ash."
Ashes.
And then Shiva says, "Okay, fine." Then he
And
gets up and he says, "I want to touch your head only."
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
He
Ha.
chased Shiva.
So it is madness, right? It is madness.
Yeah. Shiva will run away.
Shiva will run, right? Yeah. And
And
then
then
later on,
took
Vishnu
like
comes as a
Mohini
young boy
avatar
and he
comes.
says, and he says, young Brahmana boy, and he says, "You believe Shiva? This person is living in a crematorium and he dances sometimes naked. You believe that head will turn into ash? Why don't you touch it to your own head?" And then he goes and touches his own head and he dies.
It
Bhasmas.
turns into
The
ashes.
Mohini avatar.
No, sometimes it is said Mohini avatar, sometimes it is said young
Parvati.
Brahmana boy.
Brahmana boy. In
Ah,
so many this thing it comes in different this thing I think. Even
yeah,
in
yeah.
our this thing, one of the this thing book it comes as Parvati. Shiva will go and tell Parvati. Parvati will come and she will dance and she will put her head on her this thing that he will put his head while
Right,
dancing.
right. Yeah, that story is also there. So what happens is, such stories, why there are different versions of that stories is, the reason is, sometimes these pastime happen again and again.
Hmm.
And they happen in different kalpa,
Hmm.
yuga, you know.
Okay. Okay.
So then the sadhus, they reveal this story in their
Hmm.
meditation. So in their meditation, which kalpa they are meditating, we don't know.
Hmm.
That's why we get that kind of stories. Okay. So next we will move to charity now. Again the same thing, the charity. Okay. Charity given out of duty without expectation of return. Now I don't want anything out of it. I just want to give for the sake of serving Krishna at a proper time and place and to a worthy person, to a person who is going to use it judicially. That charity is in mode of goodness. That is at a place means pilgrimage place, time, lunar eclipse, month end, or Janmashtami or Ekadashi, to a worthy person. Brahmana, Vaishnava is a worthy person. Or sometimes the poor can also be a worthy person. But to them, what should we give? Should we give money or what
Food.
else can we give?
Food. Food.
Food,
Food
yeah.
and
Why we have to
clothes.
give food?
Food.
Sattvic
And
food.
some clothes.
Yeah,
Prasadam
but
Prabhuji.
why not money, but why food or clothes? Why?
Because for money means they will use in different ways, like a drink
Yeah, they
or
will go
something.
and drink and all that.
Yeah.
So that charity is not good. Okay. So we have to be careful what we are giving, to whom we are giving. But charity performed with some expectation of return, with desire for fruitive results, and in grudging mood, said to be in mode of passion. Result will be misery.
Misery,
Misery.
misery, misery.
Yeah. Always remember, result of passion will be misery only.
Misery.
So sometimes, some, I'm talking about marriage, right?
Mm.
So what happens in marriage is, sometimes you must have seen some relative gave some gift,
Mm. And
and
he'll be
it had
upset.
to be given with some detachment, right? I'm giving the gift.
Yeah.
But some later years, they fight and they said, I gave that gift in that marriage, give me back, right?
And you return that
So
goodness.
that is so how did they did the charity? Or they will tell, in the marriage of your daughter, I gave 5 tola of sona, you are only giving 1 tola.
Mm.
And they will fight over it.
Expectation.
So actually it should
Expectation.
have been a charity there. But they are expecting something in return. I gave one sari from Kanchipuram and you're giving me from Bangalore. And they will keep fighting for it, right? So there will be misery, right?
Yes.
So there was one friend of ours, and she was living in USA, America, and she has I think 3 4 brothers in Chennai. So once a while she used to come. Once what happened is, she came and she brought gifts for everyone, and so it so happened that some fight happened. Someone didn't like the gift, someone liked the other gift given to other brother, and something like that. And the fight continued, and she got so frustrated. She said, I'm coming for such a long place, a faraway place, and I bring gifts and they're fighting over it. And later on she decided, I won't get anything now.
Mm.
So from next time, whenever she came from USA, she came empty handed only, nothing, no, nothing for anyone.
Mm.
So
Mm.
people fight, and that is really, and sometimes charity is done in grudging mood.
Right.
Grudging mood means, I don't want to do it, but
But I want.
because you told me, therefore I'm doing it. Like
Mm.
sometimes, children may do that. But yeah, one should avoid that, because that is also results in misery.
Mm.
Like Daksha, he gave Sati to Shiva only because Brahma told. And later he said to Brahma, because you told na, that's why I gave. Otherwise, I was not ready to give my daughter. And then misery happened.
Mm.
Mm.
You cannot expect anything else than other than that. So we have to be, very detached and be in mode of goodness. Then we can reduce misery and madness. Okay. And charity performed at an impure place at an improper time to an unworthy person or without proper attention and respect is said to be in mode of ignorance. Impure place. Where where do you think impure place?
Mm.
In a bar, someone will say, I need money, I want to drink more, and then other person will say, oh, here, have my 100 rupees here. I'll give you charity. Improper place, improper time to unworthy person, without proper attention, no respect, for wrong reason. What will be the result?
Misery.
Madness.
Madness
Madness.
and misery.
Madness.
Prabhuji,
Huh.
Prabhuji, actually, if you give them food also, what they say, you are giving me food, but also you give me some money. So what they do, that they just eat and then go to the bar shop and drink, or they smoke. This is what is happening. Otherwise, they don't accept the food.
Yeah,
The
true,
beggars.
that is true. That is true. Beggars are not, they are not really beggars.
Okay.
They are just cheating under the garb of beggars.
Mm.
Like, contribution for indulgence of intoxication or gambling.
Mm.
In United States, there are some places where, you can give charity to casinos.
Mm.
That charity will be, will bring so much of sin, right, to the person.
Mm.
Yeah, people don't think of all these things. See, we are at least getting knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, so we are taking right decisions, right?
Mm.
You
Yes,
know,
Prabhuji.
we invest in stock shares, and there are many alcohol companies also.
Mm.
But if somebody says you put in this alcohol company, your money will grow 10 times in 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
a person, wise person won't do that. He said, even if it increases 100 times, I won't put, right?
Prabhuji, I have one doubt. The person who is selling intoxication, cigarettes, and all those things, is he comes under goodness or ignorance or passion?
Intoxicants means ignorance.
Okay.
So,
The person who
if
is
you,
selling also.
yes,
Because
yes, person who's selling, buying, transporting,
mm.
there are a lot of problems in that.
So he is also
So,
committing sin.
yes, 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 yes. See, if you observe their lives, right, you
Mm.
will see that something really bad is happening in their life. Some person will die untimely, they'll get diseases, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
You can observe. So all this karma is coming to them, and they are not worried also, because they are not aware only what is happening. They think
Correct.
this is what it is. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So now, after talking about charity, um, let's see. Hmm. Okay. So now, when we do so the conclusion is what? We should do every activity in mode of goodness, right?
Goodness.
And better than goodness is to do it for the supreme, right?
Mm.
So that's what Krishna says, that we should do it for the supreme. And the way in the Vedic times they were doing it, everything for the supreme, is by chanting Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. You must have heard this word.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Om Tat Sat means I am doing this for the pleasure of the supreme.
Mm.
And we have to do
Hallelujah.
those things only which are in mode of goodness. So choose the mode of goodness activities and do it for the pleasure of the supreme. That is the teaching of this chapter. Okay. Let's go. Okay. From the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and doing sacrifices for the satisfaction of the supreme. So, what is Krishna saying? We should do it for the supreme by chanting Om Tat Sat. And he gives the example of the Brahmanas. So, in which mode Brahmanas are?
Goodness.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So, what is
Goodness.
indicating? Choose the activities of mode of goodness and do it for the supreme Om Tat Sat.
Mm.
Hmm? We'll see some points in that purport. Um, okay. So, food, sacrifice, austerity, charity. Now, in food also, if vegetarian food is there, how there is some contamination in it, right?
Mm.
Because we have killed plants.
Yeah.
So then how to purify it? If we offer it to Krishna, simple. If we make it prasad,
Yes.
then
Prasad.
yeah. So that's how, every activity there'll be some fault in it. There'll be some contamination in it. Therefore, we have to offer it to the Supreme, Om Tat Sat, and then it becomes purified. What does Om Tat Sat indicate? It indicates the absolute truth, the Supreme Person Godhead. Om. Krishna says, I am Om. So Om is Supreme Lord. What if one acts without following scriptural regulation? Sorry? Okay, if one doesn't follow the scriptural regulations, he won't attain absolute truth. His result will be temporary. Conclusion is that all these activities, sacrifice, charity, must be done in the mode of goodness, otherwise they are inferior in quality and they should be done for Om Tat Sat. And then where all this Om Tat Sat is said? Three words: Om Tat Sat, Om Tad Vishnu. Then in Rig Veda there is Om. Then Tattvamasi indicates the second goal from Chandogya Upanishad. Sad Eva Soumya indicates the third goal. Om Tat Sat. And that's how Brahma and Brahmanas they were doing this. So according to Bhagavad Gita, any work should be done for Om Tat Sat, for Krishna, that is acting in Krishna consciousness. Okay. I just want to see. Okay. So we read 23. Now let's read 24. Can anyone read
Shall I
24?
read, Prabhuji?
Yeah, go ahead.
Shall I read the translation also?
Yes, translation and purport.
Okay. Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performances of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with scriptural regulations begin always with Om to attain the supreme purport. Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Padam. Rig Veda 1.22.12, the lotus feet of Vishnu or the supreme devotional platform. The performance of everything on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead assures the perfection of all activity.
Okay. So, we discussed our 4 activities long few weeks back. We discussed eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, and we discussed how we can do it for Krishna, right?
Yes,
Eating is prasadam eating, sleeping
Prasadam.
is you regulate your sleeping.
Yeah.
Mating is Garbhadan Sanskar, and defending is to
Always
keep the
remember.
body and soul together to use it in Krishna's service. Okay, so that's how every activity can be done for Krishna. Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Padam. Okay, next. Can you read? Continue reading.
Yes, without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penances, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. Purport: to be elevated to the spiritual position, one should not act for any material gain. Acts should be performed for the ultimate gain of being transferred to the spiritual kingdom. Back to whom? Back to Godhead. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Ultimately, we should think of going to spiritual kingdom and not for any material gain. So all that we perform, sacrifice, penances, charity, should be done for Tat. We'll see some Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Okay.
Sat.
Um, yeah. So Om indicates supreme goal. Tat indicates detached work for sake of liberation. And Sat indicates activities done for the service of the Lord to reveal true spiritual nature, and benefits are eternal. I know this devotee who's in this picture. He has 4 sons and they all go to Gurukul.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in Hyderabad.
Mm-hmm.
And this is his wife. I know this devotee. So the point is, everything should be done for Krishna's service. Okay, let's get to reading. Okay, someone else read 26, 27.
I'll read Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, go
The
ahead.
absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O son of Pritha. Hare Krishna. Purport also, Prabhuji?
Yeah, so Sat is the sacrifice, right? Sat Sat is, yeah, activities done for the service of the Lord, revealing true spiritual nature, and benefits are eternal. Okay. Yeah, read the purport, please.
Ha, Prabhuji. The word
Prashashte karmani.
prashashte karmani or prescribed duties indicate that there are many activities prescribed in the Vedic literature which are purificatory processes, beginning from the time of conception up to the end of one's life.
So,
Such
what is the
purificatory
other name for this purificatory processes?
Purificatory process.
samskars, Prabhuji,
Samskar.
samskars.
Yeah. So, what is the samskar for time of conception?
Garbhadhan samskar,
And what is the end of life samskar?
antyeshti.
Yeah, anta sanskar. And in between comes how many sanskars? Can you name some of them?
10, Prabhuji, no?
Can you name?
One is the Mundan ceremony, taking of
Even
the
before
hair.
Mundan, what happens? Anna Prashasan Samskar.
Yeah, Annaprasana, Mundan.
Mundan
Then
and
And
what?
the brahmachari, that thread ceremony.
Even
Ha.
naming
Upanayanam.
ceremony.
Yeah.
Upanayanam.
Naming is also there.
Upanayana.
Yes.
Srimantam
Upanayana.
also, Prabhuji,
Upanam.
Srimantam.
Even before Srimantam comes, Vivaha
Marriage.
Samskar.
Marriage.
Vivaha Samskar.
Then comes Simant.
Srimantam.
Srimantam. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay, good. So all these 10 so all of that should be done for Krishna. Now you tell me, how can we do Garbhadan Samskar for Krishna?
Begetting as Krishna, begetting a child
Krishna
who has,
conscious.
yeah, Krishna
How to do
conscious.
that?
Correct.
How to do that?
We have to practice first, then the child will automatically
No,
learn.
no, 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 no.
No, no. During
We
pregnancy
have to
also,
During that
do
time
devotional
itself,
service.
we have to do,
we have to
Chant
chant
Hare Krishna
50
mantra.
rounds of
Chant,
Hare
yes,
Krishna
yes, yes.
Mahamantra before
Yeah. Before
before
doing that.
conceiving. Yeah.
Conceiving.
And
Yes,
then how Anna Prashasan Samskar should be directed to Krishna?
So offering the
Offering
bhog.
the
Prasadam.
Offering
prasadam.
the food
Prasadam,
to
yeah.
Krishna
The
first.
kheer that is cooked
Prasadam.
should be offered to Krishna and
Krishna.
then
Then give
given
it
to
the child.
the child.
The child.
The child.
Okay. And how the Vivaha Samskara can be offered to Krishna?
Inviting devotees for the wedding and feeding them
Yes,
prasad.
okay, that is one way. Second,
Both
The
should
bride and the
practice. Both
bridegroom
husband
should
and
be
wife
devotees of the
should
Lord
practice
Krishna.
yeah, they should marry for spiritual purpose,
Spiritual
spiritual
purpose.
purpose.
so that they are
They
in
should
Grahastha ashram and they are doing
devotees.
devotional service in that ashram. Yes. And how one's ends of life, Anta Sanskar, should be offered to Krishna?
They should think about before death. They should
Before
think about
leaving
Krishna.
body, remember Krishna. Krishna
They
says,
Remember,
should
na?
remember.
always remember
Yeah.
No,
Krishna.
but if you are regularly chanting Hare Krishna mantra, then only we will be able to remember Krishna at the time of death.
Okay. Yeah, that
That
is
also
true.
we have to read lot
And
of
then
books.
after,
Gita, Bhagavatam and all.
that's fine. Practice takes it. And after death,
They get liberated to and
no,
they go to
after
the
After
that,
the
Lord
the
Krishna.
samskara should be done for Krishna
Krishna
by
for
chanting the holy name.
of Lord. But
Yeah, by distributing Bhagavad
Prabhuji,
Gita.
Prabhuji, once a person leaves a body and go, will he be chanting?
What do you think?
He won't
That's
be.
what I'm asking.
How he
They
will
will
chant
anyways
once
go
the
to
life is
Krishna,
gone?
Prabhuji. If they remember
Prabhuji,
Lord, they will anyways go to Krishna. They will serve him there. So they
Yeah, if
will
they get spiritual
automatically be
body, they will
chanting.
definitely continue chanting.
They will definitely
yeah,
chant.
they will continue
Yeah.
chanting. So
If they attain Krishna's about, then there they'll be doing that only.
Yeah,
But
yes,
Prabhuji,
yes.
Prabhuji, I heard that 100% should be there completed. No, then only Lord Krishna will take him. No, otherwise he has to be reborn and then. But he'll be gone. He'll be born to the very religious person or to the person who is very rich and all those things. Is it true, Prabhuji?
Yes, it is there in Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter. Let's go there. In the 8th chapter, Krishna talks
Yes.
about that. Oh, sorry.
It is in sixth chapter, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I think so.
In the sixth chapter also he says, "Na Shri Shuchi Nam Srimatan Ge."
Yeah, I think. Let's see. What happens to a devotee who is not able to complete and all that? Na, Arjuna asked this question.
Mm.
So yeah, here only I think. Yeah, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activity does not meet destruction. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment in the planet of the pious living entities, born in a family of righteous people or in a family of rich aristocracy, or he takes birth in a family of transcendentalists, that is devotees, and then he continues from where he has stopped. Hmm? So in the 6th chapter, 41 verse, 42 verse, Krishna says this.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Can you tell me about Shraddha? Shraddha ceremony. What is Shraddha ceremony? How to
The
give?
person who leaves a
When the
body,
person
for them
dies,
they do.
No, no. What? How Shraddha ceremony can be done for Krishna? Like it can be done for the sake of Krishna, for satisfying Krishna.
Prasadam must be distributed. Prasadam must be offered.
Prasadam, no,
Bhagavad
no,
Gita,
that will not be given to anybody, no, Prabhuji.
What?
Shardam, food to not to be given
we
to
can
anybody.
distribute.
Prasadam we
So,
can
so, so,
distribute.
so. Okay, 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 okay. The process of Shraddha is that the food that is cooked is offered to Krishna, then it becomes prasad, and then it is offered to the forefathers,
Mm.
to their picture and all that, and through the crow, the cow,
Mm.
or poor person, like that. So the food that is offered has to be prasad, and that's how we make it Om Tat Sat, right? Understand?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Okay,
Prabhu.
okay. So continue
Krishna,
reading.
Krishna, 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 like that,
Such
Prabhuji.
purificatory processes are adopted for the ultimate liberation of the living entity. In all such activities, it is recommended that one vibrate Om Tat Sat. The words Sat Bhave and Sadhu Bhave indicate the transcendental situation. Acting in Krishna consciousness is called Sattva, and one who is fully conscious of the activities of Krishna consciousness is called a Sadhu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3.25.25, it is said that the transcendental subject matter becomes clear in the association of the devotees. The words used are Satam Prasangat. Without good association, one cannot achieve transcendental knowledge. When initiating a person or offering the sacred thread, one vibrates the words Om Tat Sat. Similarly, in all kinds of performance of yajna, the object is the supreme Om Tat Sat. The word Tadarthyam further means offering service to anything which represents the supreme, including such service as cooking and helping in the Lord's temple or any other kind of work for broadcasting the glories of the Lord. These supreme words, Om Tat Sat, are thus used in many ways to perfect all activities and make everything complete. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So such activities like cooking. Cooking can be offered to Krishna. right? By cooking prasadam, for cooking bhoga for the Lord, serving in Lord's temple, and helping in preaching activities of the Lord, distributing Bhagavad Gita, all that. So all that activities, tad arthiyam, for the pleasure of Krishna. Now, what happens if one doesn't do this? We talked about Om Tat Sat, but what about Asat? Anything done as a sacrifice, penances without faith in the Supreme, when it is Asat, O son of Prita, is impermanent. It is called Asat and it is useless. So, anyone who does sacrifice, charity, and penances without faith in the Supreme and without uh, the direction of the scriptures, then it is Asat. So, all those who do sacrifice, charity, penances should be done with the faith in the Supreme, for the Supreme, then it becomes Sat. Okay? Anyone read the purport?
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Okay.
Anything done without the transcendental objective, whether it be sacrifice, charity, or penance, is useless. Therefore, in this verse, it is declared that such activities are abominable. Everything should be done for the Supreme in Krishna consciousness. Without such faith and without proper guidance, there can never be any fruit. In all the Vedic scriptures, faith in the Supreme is advised. In the pursuit of all Vedic instructions, the ultimate goal is the understanding of Krishna. No one can obtain success without following this principle. Therefore, the best course is to work from the very beginning in Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. That is the way to make everything successful. In the conditional state, people are attracted to worshipping demigods, ghosts, or yakshas like Kuvera. The mode of goodness is better than the mode of passion and ignorance. But one who takes directly to Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all the three modes of material nature. Although there is a process of gradual elevation, if one, by the assertion of pure devotees, takes directly to Krishna consciousness, that is the best way, and that is recommended in this chapter. To achieve success in this way, one must first find the proper spiritual master and receive training under his direction. Then one can achieve faith in the Supreme. When that faith matures, in course of time, it is called the love of God. This love is the ultimate goal of the living entities. One should therefore take to Krishna consciousness directly. That is the message of this 17th chapter. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
So, what is the solution Prabhupada is giving? What is the recommendation, solution?
Everything should be done for Krishna first.
How do we know that we are doing it for Krishna? Are we that expert to understand?
No, that is, they have recommended to approach a spiritual master.
Yes. So, under the direction of spiritual master, he knows what is the truth and he can direct us. So, Prabhupada had many, many disciples. Some disciples could do carpentry, some disciples could do painting, and he engaged them in all painting Krishna photos and carpentry, to make the temple and the deities. And some had managing ability, some had, singing ability. So, all of them he engaged them in kirtan and managing the temple, managing Sankirtan Yagya, right? So, under proper spiritual master, the hippies became happies and they became spiritual people. Getting? So, the key is the spiritual master. Now, if I tell you Bhagavad Gita is itself an example of this 17th chapter, what is the message of 17th chapter? This is the message of 17th chapter. And Bhagavad Gita itself is a example of this message. Can you explain me how? How Bhagavad Gita is proving this particular line which I have highlighted to
Because
achieve.
Lord Krishna himself has given instructions to Arjuna
Why did
when
he
he
give
was
instructions to Arjuna?
Because he was not ready to fight with the Kauravas.
That is fine, but why?
Because he surrendered and
Yeah,
he
he pleaded
his
Krishna to become his spiritual master.
Yeah,
He
he's
says
spiritual.
that in second chapter.
Karpanya doshopada swabhavaha.
हाँ कार्पण्य दोषो उपहत स्वभाव
Vicham
पृच्छामताम
tvam
धर्म समूढ़
gudache
चेताः
yasya.
ये श्रेयस्या निश्चितं
Nishitam
ब्रूहि
bruhi
तन्मे
tanme
शिष्यस्ते
shishyasya
हम साधि माम त्वां प्रपन्न. You become my spiritual master. And when Krishna became spiritual master, he directed Arjuna to do Om Tat Sat. How did he direct? How did he direct?
he asked to do everything for
He
his
told you
pleasure.
do it
All
for
these people
everything as the
are already dead. Just you
everything.
have to do your duty. For namesake, you are killing, but all these people are already
Yeah,
dead.
Krishna became the charioteer and directed his chariot in the battlefield and told him, kill this person, kill that person, shoot this person. And Arjuna did that.
Yes.
So,
So
under the
he that
direction of the spiritual master,
spiritual master.
Arjuna did everything for Krishna's pleasure. And therefore, it was Om Tat Sat. And therefore, it is stable, it is permanent, right? It is liberating. Getting?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Any questions or comments?
Oh, Prabhuji, clear.
Okay, sure. Okay. Okay, so no questions, then we can stop today and next week we'll start with chapter 18.
Okay.
Hmm? Chapter 18 is what? It is to
The
emphasize the goal of
conclusion.
surrender to Krishna. And the whole Bhagavad Gita is again summarized. Hmm? And the essence of Bhagavad Gita, that is to surrender to Krishna. This message is given in the 18th chapter.
That is the second chapter is again.
Huh?
Second chapter only no Prabhuji. That is second chapter. In that only no Karpanya dosha comes. That same thing surrender to Krishna. No, in the 18th chapter.
He surrenders there and Krishna repeats that Sarva Dharmam Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. This verse comes in 18th chapter.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. So let's stop here.